Greetings, friends, and welcome. So today I wanted to talk with you about abstract painting and the process of discovery. Now, I have some notes here that I'm going to read from, and as well, I wanted to share with you these new paintings that I've been working on. This one here started off very abstract, and it's started to take on more of a representational quality. And there was, this buck, this deer that I saw coming through in the shapes that I had glazed over of a very old abstract painting that I had been working on. And so I decided to bring out this buck's face, and then decided, okay, I'm gonna also paint in his body. And also this was a very magical abstract painting, and that's actually one of the qualities I really love about abstraction, is the magic that comes through in abstraction. And so I saw these sort of weaving forms and these different layers that were kind of weaving in and out of this mist of the glaze that I had done over this painting. And it was all kind of coming together, on the surface of this panel. It was all coming together in ways. What I mean by that is these different layers of different times that I had worked on the painting, and they were all kind of meshing together, and kind of making this representation of the buck, of its face. And so I saw that, and I decided to bring that into the painting as well. And for me, that's one of the great things about abstraction, is that along the way it kind of allows for what I see to be brought out and represented in a more defined and clear or illustrated way. It allows me to be both an abstract painter and a realistic painter, and that's something that I really get out of abstraction, is actually this reality that is not intended, I guess. And so that's a lot of fun for me, and a really big surprise when that happens. That's one of the joys for me of painting, is discovering that surprise and illuminating it more, representing it more, and creating it more, in the reality that it seems to be existing in. And so, that's what happened with this painting. And I really appreciate the beauty of this painting as well. There's just the colors and the layers that are coming through are very, very pleasing, and I think very unified. And I'm still working on it, kind of bringing everything together on the surface so that it is all the layers, so that they become unified as one on the surface. And so that's that's a lot of fun for me, and it's coming together. This painting is. And I think I'll read some of my notes here on abstract painting, because that is, something that I think is important to understand and to explore, is the different the different ways that abstraction works and what it's doing and what it's intended to do. And I think it can get, sort of, it can be sort of hard to connect with or perceive like what it really is or what the artist is intending, through its kind of subtle and simplified and non-representational ways of being. And so, I want to, shed some light on that. And yeah, so I'll get into some notes here. So for me, abstract painting is many things. It is freedom from the constraints of the mind. And so that is, being free from ideas, and ideas, you know, come in through the world, and they're things that that I know I learn, and I take on, ideas of, what something should be, in a very general way that I think affects us all is, really like the ideas of, say, masculinity or femininity, and how that comes through in so many ways through, just really, kind of standardized and commercial things such as like commercials, and that sort of thing in media, where, in media there are, very creative, you know, um, presentations, and then, we get these commercials kind of trying to convince us of something, or what we should be doing or buying, or how we should be. And so, abstraction is a freedom from these constraints, and that's something that, I think can be really, a source of clarity and self being, with self, and in self discovery and self expression. And there's a great freedom in that, and that's a really wonderful thing to experience. And it really allows for the freedom and clarity of mind that is meditative and open, and all those really free ways of being and natural ways of being. And so that can be, very, very healing for the self, and very, um, just, I guess, very, opening to the self, and how expansive we are as creative beings in the world. And so that, abstraction allows for that in ways that I think, an idea of representation may not allow for so much. Now, I think when there are very clear ideas that need to be represented, that doing that in a formal way with a structure, and the balance of, also having, just the clear representation of an idea. Now that's in and of itself and a really powerful and necessary representation as well. And so I don't want to discount those ways of being. I'm just really coming from the perspective of this kind of freedom of expression, and allowing, the mind to not be so, um, into having ideas, that it's all about the idea, and that, that can, one can lose their sense of freedom, and not be in the process of discovery that way, and discovering new things. So, this allows for a pure form of being, like what I experience when backpacking, when putting one foot in front of the other is all that is necessary to get to a destination. The mind relaxes and becomes meditative. And this is calming and centering. And so it's this process of simplification, of clearing the mind and allowing the process to go where it goes, to lead to what it leads to, and to lead to that surprise and that sense of discovery. So here's another idea. Abstract painting is an expression of an experience or way that one sees in the world. And so, oftentimes there are ways of seeing the world that are, many layers of reality coming together. And I've seen this expressed as a form of abstraction and kind of explained or shown through looking on a pane of glass and seeing on this pane of glass the reflections of the world of the outside, and also seeing through the glass into what's inside. And then you can also see reflected on the glass these patterns of light and these bright reflections that illuminate the surface as well. And so you have these three kind of planes of reality coming together and being perceived almost on one surface. And so that can be so abstract, but there are these really three very realistic and something that could be illustrated very, in a very representational way, but if they were three different paintings, but putting them all together on that one surface just makes this abstract work that just it brings the viewer in to this experience by this by being drawn in by the sheer wonder of so what is this surface, and what is being seen there is almost like looking at something through a microscope that's very expanded. And once you really start to look at all the different details, it starts to come together, and you see that, these cells moving around in there, and the structure of the cells, and that gives body and form to what's being seen. But then if you take your eye away from the microscope, it becomes sort of abstracted in a way that it's so micro that all you see are these little specks of things. And zooming in even more on those cells, you may see inside the body of those cells and see the other workings of what's inside of that body, and how that moves, and how it's structured. And so, in a way, these abstract paintings are like a microscope into these different worlds that are all existing on one plane. And so that is really a very interesting and, I guess, seductive way of bringing a viewer into the work, as well as making something that's fresh and very exciting. And that, I think that has great value in the world. And I think that's really, for me, what I've found, that is a new style. It is a style that I'm really interested in creating, and something that I've been thinking about and working on for a long, long time. And so, these paintings here, like this one and this one here, and even this painting here, have so many layers to them. And all of these layers are coming together on one surface, one plane. And you can see the dimensions moving in and out when you get closer and further away. From further away, it all becomes one and blends together. And, from close up, you can see into the body of each shape, each form, and the inner workings of what is structuring that form. And, that just, that's a way of moving through the work and keeping the viewer on their toes, and keeping the viewer interested through time, and giving the viewer the process of discovery that is so surprising, that is such a great gift to the artist in making the work, and such a great motivator to the artist as well for making the work. And so that's, that brings everything in to the work in, providing this experience, and giving that to the world. And so that's one of the great things about abstraction is, it is this great gift of an exercise and a representation of a process of discovery as well. And it shows how over time that discovery evolves. And then when given enough time, a work will then have this great meaning and can be seen as a representation of something that really has a unified place in time, that has found a unified place in time and in existence, as well as having been created over time, and coming from many forms of existence and many dimensions of reality. And so, also, and this traditionally is what abstract painting was, discovered and explained as, by the abstract expressionists. And that is, abstract painting is an expression of an emotion or feeling. It is something known beyond form that is shown intuitively through color, shape, and stroke, and evokes an experience in the artist and viewer that reaches beyond the physical. And I think that also has a great value, because that is a way of representing the internal life of the human experience. It's a way of representing the human experience that doesn't have to come through form. It doesn't have to be a thing, or a place or anything. It can be about the feelings that were felt, and how that can evoke those feelings in the viewer. And that's also a great gift to the viewer, because it connects the viewer with the internal emotional life that we all go through. And I think there's a sense of desensitized existence these days in many ways, and to be able to resensitize is a great gift. And it's a wonderful experience. And so to be connected with our senses, again, through experiencing creativity. Now, there are those of us who do not necessarily paint or create, and that's okay. We're not all meant to paint and create and that sort of thing, but we are meant to share our gifts and share our experience and experience life with one another, and that's a way to give that experience to others. And so there's a way in as well through sharing emotions and representing emotions through abstraction. And so I think that also has a validity and a value for everyone, or at least for many. It may not be for everyone, but it has its value, it has its validity. And so, the next thing, or really the last point I wanted to cover here, is that abstract painting is a process of discovery that can lead to new and fresh ideas and expressions. And so that is, allowing for experimentation to lead down this path that this path that is clear and open and free, and finding the discovery at the end, such as backpacking to a lake I've never been to before, and getting to discover what that lake is like. And for me, it's just like finding these awesome campsites on the lake and experiencing the sunsets and the sunrises, and sitting by the lake and just taking it all in, watching the clouds and the skies and the water, and seeing the sky reflected in the water and the surface of the water, seeing down to the bottom of the lake. That's that abstraction that can be shown and brought to the world. And it's a new and fresh style. And so, that's how abstraction is a way of bringing out the microscope to, discover these hidden realities within these many dimensions that we exist in. And, that's the way that, that the artist is, a pioneer, I guess. And so I think that's important, being open to abstraction as a pioneering art form, and seeing that abstraction is represented in many ways in our world that are just, they're right there in front of us all the time. And, it's ways of seeing that are all very real and tangible, and just they're not necessarily definitive or defined in ways that we're used to seeing. Like we're brought up with very clear pictures of things, and maybe we become used to seeing in those ways more often than not. So abstract painting is a way in to the reality that exists all around us all the time, and is there for our enjoyment. So that's the essence of what I wanted to share today. And I thank you for watching, and I do appreciate you all so very much. And I am wishing you wonderful and beautiful and happy days.